From Lafayette High School in Williamsburg, Virginia, WHCS Channel 29 presents Peninsula District Boys Basketball. The Kecoughtan Warriors visiting the Lafayette Rams. Good evening, everybody. I'm Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz. Welcome to the Lafayette High School Gymnasium for the game between the 6-5 Lafayette Rams and the 4-7 Kecoughtan Warriors. Right now, let's go across the court to Bob Hintz, who has Jerry Furrier, the head coach of Lafayette.
Coach of Lafayette. Jerry, this is your third game with the Kecoughtan. Playing the team 3 times, is that an advantage or a disadvantage?
It's both. If you're losing, it can be an advantage. If you're winning, it can be a disadvantage. It works both ways. If you win the first 2 games, it's always hard to win the third one. If you split, you don't know what the other teams can do, because when you lose, you got to go back and change something. When you win, you want to keep things the same, but you can do the same thing. So the person who loses has the advantage the second time around, because the winner's going to do the same thing.
There you go. That's a good point. Tell me a little bit about your team.
We've been struggling. We've been up and down. We played in spurts where we've had good games. We've had games where we haven't looked as well. A lot of it depends on our 2 post people. If they have good games, usually we have, as a team, we usually have a good game.
Well, that sounds good. Well, listen, we appreciate having you on 29, and good luck tonight.
Thank you. Good luck to you.
Back to you, Tim.
All right, Bob, thank you, and thank you, Jerry Furrier, the head coach of the Lafayette Rams. They are 6-5 in the district, and they are 8-8 overall. And you see Dwayne Freeman is one assistant, and Scott Wise the other. And Bob right now has made his way to the corner of the gymnasium, and he has head coach Revis Conrad of the Kecoughtan Warriors.
Yeah, I got Revis here. We got just a short period of time. Revis, tell me a little bit about this Lafayette team. It's the 3rd time you played them.
We played even first time. We played even the second time up at the tournament. Jerry's I think he got a real good team. He's won more ball games than we have at this point, and he went down and beat Phoebus, and that's pretty hard to do.
Yes, it is. Now, your team has really come along a lot more than what you thought it was when you and I talked the first of the year.
Yeah, I think we've been doing a real good job. The only problem is we haven't been doing a good job the whole ball game. We've kind of come up on the short end of the stick in several ball games, but the kids have played hard, and I don't have anything to complain about. They're young, and they're coming along right now.
Good enough. Revis, good luck to you tonight.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, back to you, Tim.
Bob, thank you, and thank you, Revis, and our encouragement to both teams. This should be a pretty good ball game. As you see, Revis Conrad is assisted by Richard Hall, who is the head coach of the JV team for Kecoughtan. And we will have this game underway momentarily. Our officials for tonight's game find Kyle Nave is the referee for the game, and Bill Wessel is the umpire. And there you see, there's Bill Wessel on the left, Kyle Nave on the right, and our game officials. And we're going to have the playing now of our national anthem. We're about set to have the introductions of the starting lineups for tonight's game.
And while we got a minute just before we start that, you'll see Mike McCormick is over on the bench helping Revis tonight. Richard Hall went home with the JV team. And so Revis said, hurry up with the interview because I don't have an assistant here tonight.
Okay. We'll give the starting lineups now for Kecoughtan. Coming on the floor is Joe Fluellen, a name that you football fans will be undoubtedly familiar with. Tony Jordan, number 24. Lawrence Lewis, number 32, averaging 5.8 points per ball game for Kecoughtan. Doug Walter, averaging 16 points a game for the Warriors, number 44. And number 50, Ramadan Abraham, who, if you watched the girls' game that was on the other night, you would recall that name of Abraham, as he is one of 3 Abrahams who play for the Warriors, 2 on the boys' team, 1 on the girls' team.
And number 40, Faisal, will not be playing tonight.
So that will be a real severe loss, as he averages 15 points a game.
Yes, I know.
Kenny Miller, second player to be introduced for the Lafayette Rams. Raymond Brown averaging 14.7. Jay Wright, number 22, averaging, check that. James Cooper, number 54, averaging 7.7. And the Lafayette Rams, as you already heard, coached by Jerry Furrier, assisted by Dwayne Freeman and Scott Wise. There you see the starting lineup for the Lafayette Rams. Alonzo Johnson was the one player introduced that we did not pick up earlier.
And did you give us the officials?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Kyle Nave and Bill Wessel.
And that's Kyle with the ball. And that's Bill without the ball.
There you go. That would make sense.
This will be a much faster paced ball game than the previous game we did tonight. We will see Lafayette, if they hold to form, will play a patient offense. They do a lot of passing and cutting and are very patient. Well, Kecoughtan likes to move the ball up the floor real quick and get a good percentage shot. The key to the nice ball game is going to be how well David Walder scores and how well Abraham, number 50, scores in place of his brother.
Tap controlled by Lafayette. That's Kenny Miller, number 14, who had it. He's got it again. James Cooper. Pass is knocked out of bounds, almost stolen by Kecoughtan's Tony Jordan, number 24.
And if you remember, a young man played football for Kecoughtan, was a quarterback by the name of Doxy Jordan. That is his brother, Tony.
Foul is called on number 53, Jay Wright of Lafayette, on that last play. And Kecoughtan will have it. Just underway, 4 8-minute quarters in high school basketball. It's our first look at either of these teams this season. This is Joe Fluellen kicking it out to Tony Jordan. In for Ramadan Abraham. This is Doug Walter's shot, partially deflected. Shot underneath is no good, and the rebound comes off for James Cooper of Lafayette. We've played almost a minute, no score between the two.
And you'll see what the Rams are doing. They'll pass and then cut away and go away from the pass. They'll pass and cut the opposite direction.
Shot is too strong. It's lost out of bounds by Raymond Brown. It'll belong to the Warriors.
If he could have hung on to that ball, he'd have had an easy 2 points. He was probably thinking shooting before he had rebounded.
This is Jordan bringing the ball up against the pressure of Jay Wright. Jordan drives the lane, shovels his shot up, and he is fouled.
No, he's calling an offensive foul, and that's a tough call. I don't know if we got that or not, but I don't know if the young man was set or not, but irregardless, that was an offensive foul.
So 1 foul apiece now, and the Rams will get it back. Still no score. Wright to Miller. This is Alonzo Johnson with the ball. Back to Jay Wright. Miller guarded by Walter. Lafayette very patient. .550 remaining first quarter. Neither team has scored. Miller kicks it back for Wright.
Well, they're not going to shoot unless they get a real high percentage shot.
Johnson will set it back up to Miller. He's guarded by Doug Walter. Kecoughtan now goes to the big man who kicks it back out. For the obvious question that those of you may be asking, there is no shot clock in high school ball, so technically Lafayette could hold the ball all evening and not shoot.
If Kecoughtan plays good, tough defense, they can cause a turnover in this play. They start some overplay, and they'll find out which cuts the guys are making because they pass and go away from the ball. Pass and go away or cut down.
Is that how you do it as a coach, Bob? You watch the pattern and try and anticipate?
Absolutely. And I'm sure that they practiced, they being the Warriors, have practiced against this kind of offense all day.
A foul underneath will be called to Tony Jordan. That'll be Jordan's second personal foul as he got underneath the Lafayette player when he came down. He nudged him out with his hip.
Would you see what kind of a shot that the Rams are taking? It's nothing but an inside, almost like a layup.
Rams difficulty getting the ball in before the 5 seconds, but they did so. And going to the hoop is Raymond Brown, averaging more than 14.5 points a game. And he gets this game's first two at 4:24 of the first period. Llewellyn with the ball. Gives to Tony Jordan, cutting to the basket. He got it.
That was a nice cut. And a good pass. Llewellyn watched the cutter.
Jordan with two, and Kecoughtan has tied it. Baseline move and a strong jam by James Cooper.
No weak side defense that time. You got to have some weak side help.
James Cooper averaging more than 7.5, got the easy two. A shot underneath by Ramadan Abraham doesn't go, but he was fouled. And Cooper picks up the personal. It'll be two shots for Abraham. That was quite an emphatic two that Cooper got at the other end, wasn't it?
It was one of these in your face with an explanation point.
Abraham misses the first of two. And he comes short with the second as well. Get a chance to watch a replay of the dunk shot at the very end of it. You saw the play earlier from Raymond Brown. As the other end, back to the live action, we saw a shot and a foul. Foul was charged to Joe Llewellyn of Kecoughtan. That's the third team foul, and going to the free throw line will be Jay Wright, averaging a little more than 10 points a game. And he cannot hit on the first. I should hasten to apologize to our listeners tonight. I'm suffering a bit of a cold, and if you hear a sniffle from now and then, I apologize. I'll do my best to.
It probably sound like Niagara Falls.
Wright is 0 for 2 from the free throw line this time, and it remains 4-2 in favor of Lafayette. Jordan, baseline jumper, left-hander is in and out. Lawrence Lewis can't get it to fall for the Warriors, and back come the Rams.
And that was number 53. Jay Wright just took the ball right out of Abraham's hands.
This is Raymond Brown. To right to Brown. To Johnson to right.
And it's almost a walk. Number 14, Kenny Miller has a tendency to shuffle his feet just before he starts to dribble. And
James Cooper's shot won't go. Back come the Warriors. They want to run with the ball. Going to the hoop, it doesn't go. Abraham follows and it does hit.
That's a nice, strong putback by Abraham. Very good. Strong rebound.
Abraham has 2, and the Warriors tie it at 4 with 2:10 remaining in the first quarter.
And you see what Kecoughtan will do when they get the ball. They're going to try to run, get back down and catch the Rams before they set up their man-to-man defense.
There you see a good look at Doug Walter and Kenny Miller. Ball is lost out of bounds. It went off of a Kecoughtan Warrior.
That was excellent defense that time.
You see Revis Conrad exhorting his team to bigger and better things. Kenny Miller with Johnson to his right. Nice feed underneath, knocked away by Abraham. Good defense, and then it's booted out of bounds. It'll belong to Kecoughtan.
It looks like to me that Abraham is getting to be a little more aggressive. He seemed to be a little tentative at the beginning of the ball game. And they need him to be aggressive. He gives up a lot of weight.
Inside to Abraham, his shot a little bit rushed. Miller makes contact with Llewellyn, and a foul is called. They're going to call a charge against Miller. Now check that, Johnson. So Alonzo Johnson, you get a chance to watch this again. That was a bad call.
Yeah, he had not gotten there yet.
He hopped into that position, and he did not give the offensive player a chance to get around. So in my opinion, and I'm not an official, and I don't claim to be, but it looked like.
Well, that was Kyle that called that, so I'm going to give Kyle your address.
Do that. Toughest call in basketball to make. I'll hedge my bet by saying that. We have the advantage of slow-mo Joe.
That's right, we most certainly do. And that does make it a little easier sitting here than it does out there on that floor.
Still tied at 4, a minute 3 remaining in the first quarter. Very low scoring, deliberate offense for both teams. Doug Walter's shot won't go. And good position by Raymond Brown for the board. Brown with a good spin move at half court. 50 seconds to go. Miller dishes to Brown, and then Brown is pushed out of bounds. And no, they say a travel call. Oh my gracious.
And that's not well received by the host crowd here.
He was helped out of bounds. So Kecoughtan, the benefit of the call. Tony Jordan picked up by Jay Wright. Doug Walter looks inside. Joe Llewellyn will pass to Abraham. Walter will shoot from the free throw line, off the glass and good.
And he was hit, his arm. Kenny Miller got his arm that time, but there was no call.
So Doug Walter, averaging 16, has his first points, and Kecoughtan leads 6-4. Just 9 seconds remaining in the quarter. This is Kenny Miller. I don't believe he's aware of the fact that 2 seconds are left on the clock. In fact, he was not. And his last second shot falls short. So Kecoughtan trailed for the best part of the first quarter.
Well, they sure did. They came back strong. I think one of the keys was the rebounding. I think Kecoughtan did a much better job on the offensive board. They got a little more aggressive, and they didn't get that many shots from it, but it caused them to become a little more aggressive down on the offensive end too, and I believe that's what Revis wants. I need to explain a little bit about why Faisal Abraham is not playing tonight. He got an incomplete on one of his grades, and therefore Revis does not want to take any chances. He says, no, you turn that work in. He passed his exam and everything, but he owes has to turn in some paperwork, and then he'll be eligible. So that's the reason he's not playing. It's not because of disciplinary action at all. And you can see he was on that replay.
Well, now, you know something, though, Slow-Mo Joe, if he'll do us a favor and rerun this again to show you how good the officials can be, you watch, you're going to see a possibility. If we have this again, you're going to see him take a little hop before he has contact made with him. I didn't notice it on initial play, and we may or may not get a chance to look at it again as we're back to the live action. But there might have been a little hop there, which, if that was the call, then Wessel called it correctly because he saw that before the contact. Save that if you can, Slow-Mo. I'm the first to criticize an official, but I also like to be the first to commend them when they do make a right call. Jump ball is called by one official and a foul by another, and the official, the referee, Nave, will overrule. And there you see Jerry Furrier, who says, wait a minute, it was a jump ball, not a foul. But in fact, see that? You see him pleading.
Somebody called a jump ball, they did.
Off the heel of the rim, the free throw from Lawrence Lewis, that's his first attempt. The foul was charged to Jay Wright, that's his second. There you see a real good look at Lawrence Lewis. Left-hander is 1 of 2 from the free throw line. And Kecoughtan takes a 3-point lead. Raymond Brown has it in and out, and Abraham rebounds for the Warriors. They want to run. Fluellen on the receiving end of the pass. Dishes off, no good for Lewis. Lewis got the rebound, and the putback is good.
And that was 2 good rebounds by Abraham and Lewis. There's 2 offensive rebounds on that exchange.
The Warriors now are out to a 5-point lead after a 4-4 game. They have come back to score 5 straight. And Doug Walter gets the board for the Warriors. Tony Jordan will slow it down a little bit. So after being tied at 4, Kecoughtan now has reeled off 5 straight points. They need 9-4. Pass is thrown behind Jordan, picked off by Wright. Wright will go all the way to the hoop. A foul is called. We're going to have a block on Walter.
That was just not a good pass that created that turnover. Not only does the pass have to be well executed, but the man receiving the ball must step towards the ball. And you can, this is the, and you can see that Wally was leaning in, and Willie was not square, was not set up square.
Good call by the officials. 2 shots coming, as coming in the ball game for Kecoughtan was Matt Patterson, number 34. He'll replace Abraham for the Warriors. 6:45 left in the half. 9-4 Kecoughtan. Wright hits 1 of the 2. He is 1 for 4 from the free throw line. 4 team fouls against each team so far. So after this point, each team will be shooting 1 and 1. Lawrence Lewis connects. He's got 5 points.
What does he average for the year?
5.8, and I want to thank our friends at the Daily Press. Thank you for reminding me about that. Mike Keach, Terry Armour, Sonny Dirth, and others who compile these statistics for the Daily Press and allow us to use them. And we appreciate it, fellas. Without it, we would have little or no information to go on. Unfortunately, the schools don't give us a lot of information. 11-5, Kecoughtan by 6. Miller stops, kicks it back out. Miller guarded by Jordan. They swing it around. And a foul.
And number 54, James Cooper's a big kid. I mean, he outweighs at least 20 pounds anybody that's guarding him tonight.
Matt Patterson, number 34, picks up the personal. That's his first. And that foul will bring 2 shots, and it'll also put Kecoughtan over the limit for the rest of this half. So Wright hits his second free throw. We'll get a chance to watch the replay here.
He does a nice fade. Well, he really kind of leans into him a little, but there was a foul.
Patterson got him squarely on the arm. And Wright is able to get both free throws this time. He has 3 points, all from the free throw line. 5:35 remaining in the first half. It's 11-7. Kecoughtan by 4. Joe Fluellen holds up the dribble, kicks it back to Jordan. Kecoughtan sets up a play. Fluellen breaks out, dishes off to Lawrence Lewis. His shot won't go.
Big number 53, Jay Wright, just blocked that man right out. Didn't catch the number with the Kecoughtan Warrior, but he just took him right out of the play.
Pass is thrown away. It's going to be a over and back. It should belong to Kecoughtan. Even if the Rams had chased it down, the ball went out of bounds. Checking in for Kecoughtan now is number 42, Michael Nemotka.
That's Nemoka.
And Mike Braxton, number 22, will come in as well. This is Tony Jordan, guarded by Jay Wright. Doug Walter open for 3, hit it. So Doug Walter has 5 points, and it's a 14-7 score now in favor of Kecoughtan. Kecoughtan with the lead as James Cooper hits his second basket. Kecoughtan is 4-7 in the district, 5-10 overall. Lafayette with a better district record at 6-5. Walter from 13, off balance shot doesn't go. 2 Warriors battle for it. And Matt Patterson gets it and puts it back.
Mike Nemoka just released the ball so that it wouldn't be a traveling charge. He saw who else had a hold of the ball. That was a good move. Oh, he had to get him with the body. That was a good block, it looked like, from our vantage point. And that's on Matt Patterson.
That'll be his second. The official right there to make the call. 16-9 our score, as stepping to the free throw line with 2 shots will be James Cooper. He's got 4 points so far, both from the floor. Here you see a replay of the block and the foul. He might have even gotten him on the arm a little bit.
Yeah, he probably did from that point. That was a good shot by our camera people. That's Jerome Young, Angela Brown, and Sammy Jr. Sam Still Jr. They do an excellent job. It makes Joe Lewis's job on the slow motion a little bit easier. He has good camera work.
Cooper perfect from the free throw line. He's got 6 points, and it's a 5-point Kecoughtan lead. Shot is short, rebound put up no good. Raymond Brown comes back down 3-on-1 for Lafayette, and 1 pass too many.
It was, they just overpassed on that play. They had a 3-on-1, a nice break. They should have ended up with a basket.
Brown should have taken the shot in retrospect. Nemotka will inbounds. .330 remaining in the half, 16-11, Kecoughtan by 5. Walter shoots and hits.
He is a pure shooter, and he's starting to pick up. His defense is starting to get a little bit better this year than it was last year. He was just a sophomore last year.
And we've got a foul.
That's got to be on Abraham.
On Abraham, right. That's his first.
Yeah, we're right over his back that time.
So the Warriors leading by 7 without their second leading scorer in Faisal Abraham. To their credit, they're doing a pretty good job. Watch the replay of the last action.
And he just went over the back, as you saw there on that replay. He being Abraham, number 50.
James Cooper has 7 points, make that 8, as he is perfect from the free throw line, 4 out of 4. And we've got a foul in the backcourt on Raymond Brown. That'll be his first. .3:11 remaining in the half, 18-13. Kecoughtan led by 2 after 1.
Tim, when you leave tonight, I want you to stop by the drugstore and get yourself some Alka-Seltzer Plus or NyQuil or something, and stay in the bed tomorrow.
Okay. Talk me into it. Thank goodness for these sneeze buttons or cough buttons, whatever they call them on these microphones. I apologize to our listeners at home. I'm fighting a cold here, but bear with me. Ball is loose, they scramble for the ball, and it comes into the hands of the Warriors. Tony Jordan kicks it out quickly. Doug Walter took a step, too many.
Yeah, he was anxious to go, and he did. He did a jump step. That kind of action will keep our camera people on their toes. At halftime, Dr. Sam Still is going to take over AG's job and go down and talk to the Kecoughtan cheerleaders.
All right. So I hope you'll stay tuned for that. 2:35 remaining in the half. 19-13. Shot goes and a foul. Marcus Walker with the basket.
That's not a real smart foul if you're the coach. You're thinking, if you're going to foul him, don't let him shoot the basketball. Now he's got a chance for a three-point play. That foul was on 22, Mike Braxton.
2 shots, rather than 1 shot coming for Marcus Walker as the basket counted, cutting the lead to 4, and the free throw is missed. Braxton is fouled. Marcus Walker picks up the personal.
He's not happy about it, nor is Jerry Furrier, who was over on the side. He thinks they got all ball that time on that block pass.
4-point Kecoughtan lead. Braxton will go to the free throw line with 1 and 1. Official score needs to check with Kyle Nave about something. Nave is the referee for tonight's game. You know, you and I were talking about it on our way up here. We have yet to see Pat Patrick officiate a game. We've just been missing him this year. Watch the replay here.
Yeah, well, usually if I know last year we had him at least 3 or 4 times, and anyway, he accused us of following him, and actually we accused him of getting the games he knew we were going to televise.
Now something being discussed, and I'm not sure what's going to happen here. It appears to be a technical, but I'm not sure. Standing at the free throw line by himself is Braxton.
Well, now he'll shoot a 1 and 1 on the foul, and then we'll see what happens after that.
I'm not sure why the technical was called. I didn't see one called unless, well, I won't even speculate.
Well, I'll tell you what happens. There was something at the book. Maybe the numbers weren't listed in there right. That would be a foul.
That's the only thing I can foresee, because there wasn't any.
You just got to see that foul before last. Now Walters will step up and shoot a technical. So the technical was on Lafayette for some reason.
Unfortunately, we do not have communication with the official scores table. You see Sammy Jr. as he's zeroing in on Mr. Walter.
And that's the shot that Sammy has given us right there. That's a great shot. This young man here is a pure shooter. He's got a good rotation. He takes his time at the foul line and misses. Boy, you talk about the jing. I have put him on tonight, haven't I?
And now Kecoughtan will get the ball at half court. So they got 2 of 4 from the free throws. And they'll inbounds directly in front of us. Hopefully at halftime we can perhaps find out why that technical was called. Inside of 2 minutes to go, Walter loses the handle but gets it back and then stepped on the timeline. So good call by Kyle Nave right on the line.
It sure was. He got a little help from number 14, Kenny Miller, but that's okay.
21-15, Kecoughtan by 6. Coming into this game, Kecoughtan was in 7th place, while Lafayette is in 5th place. Kecoughtan, of course, wants to finish in the top 8 as the top 8 go to the district playoffs.
Good hustle at that time by Joe Fluellen. He was the weak side defensive man who had to come down and pick off that pass. Had he not gotten there, Lafayette would have got an easy 2.
Alonzo Johnson for the basket. And it's a 4-point Kecoughtan lead. Feet underneath for Abraham. His shot is too strong. Rebound shot no good. And the Lafayette Rams can cut the lead to 2. And they missed the shot. Pretty easy shot for James.
Yeah, easy shots being missed by both teams.
Walter for 3. No. Kenny Miller. And it's a 2-point ball game. 25 seconds remaining. Lafayette Gym a little unique in that there's a scoreboard at just one end of the court. And the Kecoughtan Warriors lose it out of bounds with 11 seconds remaining. The Rams with a chance to tie or take the lead with a 3-pointer. Miller with 5 seconds left throws up an air ball. Rebound no good. And the ball goes out of bounds. 1 second remaining on the clock. So 1 second left. Lafayette will have to inbounds and shoot immediately. And it's picked off by Fluellen. His desperation heave is well off the mark.
Well, I heard the whistle before I heard the clock.
So we are at halftime, and our scorer, Kecoughtan, who led by 2 at the quarter break, holds on to that lead, 21-19. And momentarily, we're going to go down to, well, let's do it right now. Dr. Sam Stills, who's got the Kecoughtan cheerleaders.
Okay, Tim and Bob, as you know, AG is not with us tonight, but he told me to be sure to interview the female cheerleaders from Kecoughtan High School. So let's start from right to left. What is your name?
Christy Green.
How long have you been cheering?
3 years.
3 years. Who's your favorite? Your 3rd year? Who is your favorite player?
All of them are.
All of them are. Okay, what is your favorite cheer?
It'll probably be, I have no idea.
No idea. Okay, okay. What is your name?
Margaret Hamilton.
How long have you been cheering?
It's my 4th year.
4th year? You a senior?
Yes, sir.
Okay, who's your favorite player?
They're all great. They all do an outstanding job.
Okay, do you have a favorite cheer?
I think all the cheers that get the crowd into it, that the crowd enjoys, and that we can get the crowd motivated with, those are my favorite.
Okay, thank you so much. Now let's turn over here. Who do we have?
Carrie Jones.
And how long have you been on the cheerleading squad?
3 years.
3 years? Okay, you got one more year to go, right? Oh yeah, what you be doing this summer?
Cheering.
Cheering? Okay. Okay, you have a favorite player?
All of them. They're all.
Okay, all of them good. Favorite? What is your favorite cheer?
I'd say
a proven performance.
Okay, say hello, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
What is your name?
Debbie Pencer.
And how long you been cheering?
This is my second year.
Second year? Oh, you have a long time to go, huh?
No, I'm a senior next
Oh,
year.
yeah? Okay, you'll be a senior next year? Okay.
Yeah.
You have a favorite player?
I like them all. They work really hard. They do.
You have a favorite cheer?
I like Kecoughtan Warriors.
Okay, you love your brother?
Huh?
You have a brother?
Yes.
Is it good to you?
Yeah.
Okay, then. Okay, let's go over here.
I'm Shannon Bowles.
And how long have you been here?
This is my third year.
Your third year? You like Kecoughtan?
Yes, sir.
Okay, who's your favorite teacher?
Miss Cooley was my favorite too.
Oh, that's your favorite teacher, okay. Who is your name? What's your name?
Taft Jones.
Kathy Jones. And how long have you been on the cheerleading squad?
2 years.
2 years? Sophomore?
Junior.
Junior? Oh, you got one more year, right? You have a favorite player?
All of them.
All of them. Okay, all of them. Come in here. Come in here. What is your name?
Adrian Brown.
Adrian Brown. And what is your classification?
I'm a junior.
Okay, you're a junior? Okay, what is your favorite cheer?
My favorite cheer. Proven performance.
Okay, let's go over here. And what is your name?
Marty O'Connell.
Okay, how long have you been on the cheerleading squad?
3 years. Yes, sir.
Oh, you're a veteran, huh?
Yes.
And you like it?
Yeah. This one.
Okay, let's go to Cynthia. Cynthia, what is your name?
Cynthia Holland.
And how long have you been on the cheerleading squad?
It's my second year.
Say hello, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Let's get around and do your favorite cheer. Come on. Okay, back to you, Tim and Bob.
All right, thank you, Dr. Sam, and the tradition continues. As AG couldn't be here, but Dr. Sam did a great job in filling in and having a chance to talk to all those young ladies. So we're going to take a break. We'll be back with the third quarter of action. The score at halftime, Kecoughtan 21, Lafayette 19. We'll be right back. At halftime, there you see the score. Kecoughtan leading by 2 points, as they did after one quarter. Get a chance to watch Doug Walters' three-point attempt late in the second quarter. And this one's going to be just a little short. It bounced around. I thought for a minute it was going to drop through, but it didn't. Walter did have 8 points to lead the Warriors in the first half. Lawrence Lewis had 5, 3 for Tony Jordan, 1 for Mike Braxton, and 2 points for Ramadan Abraham, as well as Matt Patterson. For Lafayette, they were paced with a total of 8 points by Cooper, James Cooper, 3 points for Jay Wright, 2 points for Raymond Brown, 2 points for Marcus Walker, 2 for Kenny Miller, and 2 for Alonzo Johnson. And that's the way we stand at halftime, 21-19. In favor of the Kecoughtan Warriors. They did lead by 8 points at one point. And Lafayette had a run there toward the end of the first half to cut that lead down to just 2. Your comments, Bob, on the first half of play?
Well, I was kind of pleased with the way Kecoughtan came out. They are missing their leading scorer, or the second leading scorer in Faisal Abraham, but they are playing with great intensity, and I'm sure that Revis Conrad was real pleased, except for the last maybe minute and a half, 2 minutes of that first half. They had as much as a 7-point lead at one time. On the other hand, the Rams are doing exactly what I thought they would do. They are very patient in their offense, but they're very strong underneath. They have missed a lot of inside chippy shots and rebounds that were put back in that just didn't go in. But this is a close game, and it's anybody's game at this point.
Dr. Sam was kind enough to check with Kyle with us, who we didn't get an opportunity to do so. The reason the technical was called was the wrong number, and you pinned it right on the tail there. The wrong number was entered into the scorebook to begin with, so the player had been incorrectly listed at one number when in fact his number was 42 instead of 44. So That's why we had that technical. It was not a matter of misconduct or anything like that. It was just a simple rule infraction. Baseline jumper, easy jumper, ties the ball game as Kenny Miller gets the 3-footer to make it 21 all.
And that was all started by number 44, Raymond Brown, on a nice strong move to the basket. Somebody had to pick him up. And Kecoughtan ball player got hit in the face, and there was no call. And there was a walk on that play, and there was no call on that. And that's
Kyle
Joe
Nave.
Llewellyn, I believe, yes.
Kyle Nave, the referee, checked the player, let the play go, not to penalize Lafayette because they did have a break going. And Joe Llewellyn is shaken up. You may or may not have him in your screen yet. I believe, well, he's just out of your screen, but at any rate, he is coming out of the ballgame. I think he's going to be all right, but he was shaken up momentarily. He is replaced in the lineup by Matt Patterson, number 34. This is Patterson in the corner. Kicks it back to Tony Jordan. Abraham, Jordan, Patterson. Patterson's shot is an air ball. And it's last touched by the Warriors.
Well, the Warriors have not done anything right since they've come out here, and the Rams have put 2 quick buckets on the board and have taken the lead and have the ball.
Alonzo Johnson is going to be called for the charge.
And that was an excellent call. He went flying in there.
That'll be his second personal foul. That's the first team foul against Lafayette. Just underway, 8-minute quarters, 6:53 remaining in the third quarter. I'm Tim Cole with Bob Hintz. This game played Friday night, the 26th of January, 1990. We're at Lafayette High School in Williamsburg for the game between Lafayette and Kecoughtan. Bodies on the court as Matt Patterson gets the putback, and now we have another player shaken up as getting to his feet is James Cooper. He got a little tough underneath the board there. He came up with a limp.
He came down on somebody's foot, I believe, Tim, and as a result, he lost the ball. He had the rebound, but he lost the ball, and it was picked up by Matt Patterson and put in, would put the ties the score.
Cooper will have to check out, I believe, or a timeout would have been called against his team. Is that not correct?
That's correct.
So even though there was only a momentary delay, Lee Wall, number 42, comes in. And at the other end of the floor, Kenny Miller has his second basket of the second half.
And that was a nice pass by Raymond Brown. He's a big ball player coming down the court and ran right over Doug Walters, but it was not called.
Inside turnaround jumper, no good. Rebound by Kecoughtan. They kick it out. Jordan from 15 got it. So Tony Jordan has 5 points, and it's a tie ball game at 25 all. Kenny Miller, check that, Alonzo Johnson for 2. Johnson has 4 points in the ball game. Jordan's shot is short. And quickly down the court, a good lead pass. And Jay Wright connects. 7 points for Wright. And Lafayette quickly back up on top by 4. 5:25 left in the third. Jordan to Abraham.
What the Lafayette is playing right now is a box and one. There are 4 men playing a zone, and number 10, Alonzo Johnson, is playing man-to-man on Walder.
2-on-1, left side, Brown, shot goes. Would have been good anyway because the ball was interfered with.
Right.
But it went in as it was.
And that's just a wrinkle in the defense that Jerry Furrier put on. He knows that Walder is the best shooter out there, so he's going to play him man-to-man, and Revis Conrad says, let's take a minute and think about this.
4:51 remaining in the third quarter. It's 31-25 in favor of Lafayette, as Kecoughtan had trailed the better part of the first period, only to take a 6-4 lead with a shot at the end of the first period. Then Kecoughtan led by as many as 8 points in the second period, only to see Lafayette close that gap to 2 at halftime. And now Lafayette has come out, and they have put a total of 12 points on the board, while Kecoughtan has been held to 4. You'll see the replay of the last basket. This would have been goaltending, I do believe, but it didn't matter because the ball went in anyway. You see right here, right there, the ball is off the glass and it is touched.
Then it was touching, which is an automatic field goal goaltending.
But as it was, the ball went in, so no call was necessary. Another good example of excellent camera work, folks. We appreciate our crew tonight doing their usual superb job. Of course, Scotty Bauer is our director in the van doing his usual superb job. Angela Brown, Jerome Young, Sam Stills Jr. manning the cameras for Channel 29. Lest I forget, Bev Penn is doing the graphics. Ball is ping-ponged around and out come the Rams. Raymond Brown will bring it out and set up play number 5. Miller to Wall to Johnson. Wright will shoot from 17, in and out. And Patterson gets the board for Kecoughtan. Walters has it blocked by Miller. Good defensive effort, and then Miller dribbled it off his leg. Kecoughtan will keep it. 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Kecoughtan trailing by 6.
What somebody's going to have to do is, if they want to free Walter, somebody's going to have to set a screen on Alonzo Johnson, number 10, who is guarding him man-to-man.
Lawrence Lewis has it stripped away. Back comes Alonzo Johnson. Got a little ahead of the ball, but he get it back, put it up, no good. And retrieved nicely by Jay Wright. Kenny Miller will shoot from 13, no good. And Abraham had it. Did he step on the baseline? I believe he did.
Right now, Kecoughtan is being out-hustled. All loose balls and extra rebounds are going to the Rams.
Miller guarded by Walter. Pass inside for Brown is knocked away by Jordan. He tried to save it but couldn't. Joe Fluellen will come back in for the Warriors, replacing Matt Patterson. And Mike Niamotka will come in, replacing Abraham. Miller to Johnson. 3:05 remaining third quarter. 31-25. Lafayette by 6. Feet underneath for Brown, and he is fouled by Joe Fluellen. That'll be number 2 on number 20, Joe Fluellen of football fame at Kecoughtan. Get a chance to watch this again, Bob.
And you'll see he just dishes the ball off. Nice dish off, and Joe just comes right over and looked like he may have got the ball, but he also got part of the arm.
Raymond Brown with his 5th point. He had a thundering jam early in the ball game. This is his first trip to the free throw line. We'll see a good look at Raymond Brown. Deep breath, and he connects. He has 6 points. And it's an 8-point lead for Lafayette. Tony Jordan looking to coach Revis Conrad for instructions. Walter has the pass stolen. Alonzo Johnson converts. Kecoughtan having this game slowly slip away from them.
Well, they really are. This one man, this boxing one has just really confused them. They played much.
Jay Wright and the Lafayette team looking for the intentional foul. They won't get it. Fluellen picks up his 3rd personal. And Kecoughtan is going to call a timeout with 2:22 remaining. We'll get a chance to watch this again.
He just takes the ball right away from him.
He just stripped it.
And then Flewellen really trips. And that was really a good no call as far as the intentional foul because he was falling down. That was a good call.
Oh, sure, you said that just as Kyle got over here, right?
I said that real loud so Kyle could hear me.
37-25. Kecoughtan has been ice cold here in the third quarter, scoring just 4 points, while Lafayette has scored 18.
Well, what you got to do, if you have to look and see what the situation is, and what's happening is they're playing man-to-man on Walter. Nobody's setting the screen, so every time he touches the ball, he's got a man in his face. So what you have to do is now what you've got to do is start getting the other people in the offensive flow or set some screens to get Walters open for a good jump shot.
Jay Wright will go to the free throw line. He is 3 out of 6 from that line so far.
I call him Walters. It's Walter, not with an S. Doug Walter.
Wright has 10 points, and his team leads by 13. Block shot by Miller.
May have got a little arm, but was no call.
Jay Wright from 17, in and out. And a foul will be called against James Cooper. That'll be his second. That'll only be the second team foul against Lafayette.
At the end of this third quarter, Dr. Sam is going to go up and talk with Doxy and Tony Jordan's mother. She teaches, I believe, at Warwick High School, and she goes to all the ball games at Warwick or Kecoughtan.
James Cooper is called for his third personal foul. Stepping to the free throw line will be Lawrence Lewis. We'll get a chance to watch this again as Cooper will come out.
There's a shot of Mrs. Jordan right there. We'll get her, and there's Dr. Sam Steele. We'll talk to them at the end of this third quarter.
Shot by Lawrence Lewis is short. We will watch the replay now.
He just hammered. Well, he got the body is what got him.
1 out of 2 for Lewis. He's got 6 points. And the Warriors trail by 12. Boys team trying to avoid a sweep here as the JV boys game earlier was won by Lafayette and the girls game as well. Lewis shot won't go, but he is fouled, and that'll be the third on Jay Wright.
Well, Kecoughtan has dug themselves quite a hole here in this third quarter. What did they have? How many points they had at the end of the half? Well, they've only scored 5 points in this third quarter with 1:20 to go, and they are a much better offensive team than that. Here's that replay on that last foul. And of course, it's hard to see from that vantage point, but there obviously was a foul called.
Lewis hit the first free throw. And the second one goes in and comes out.
He shoots that ball real flat with not much arc on it.
11-point difference in the ball game. 38-27. This is Marcus Walker. His pass is picked off by Walter. And Walter loses the handle momentarily, gets it back, comes up short. Flewellen with the board and the put in.
That's a nice job of Joe Flewellen following that shot up. You have a tendency to relax when your player's going in for a layup.
Kecoughtan comes out with the ball. 40 seconds remaining. They trail by 9. Baseline pass, saved, and a foul. Lawrence Lewis, good hustle to save the pass.
And that does put Kecoughtan into 1-1, but that is a 2-shot foul, so it doesn't make any difference at this juncture. Watch the replay and this nice hustle for that pass as you was talking about. And there's the foul. He hit him with his arm.
Raymond Brown called for the foul. That's his second. And that does create the bonus situation. Lawrence Lewis has 2 shots. He misses the first.
He's got to put a little more arc on that ball. A little more arc, and he will be a better foul shooter. He shoots it too flat.
This one he does a little greater arc. Now we got a jump ball, and the ball will belong to the Warriors by a possession arrow. Half a minute remaining. Kecoughtan trailing by 9. Wide open for the jumper. It's too long. Diamotka puts it back. It won't go. Battle underneath, and a foul.
Number 34, Matt Patterson, really hustled that time underneath the basket to get that rebound. Let's see if he's a little more successful on a free throw. I don't know how many Kecoughtan has missed, but they've missed quite a few free throws tonight.
Well, they've missed the last 4 attempts at the free throw line. And that string is broken by Patterson, who has 5 points now. Get a chance to watch the replay here. He was underneath the basket so far.
That's Niemaga with the rebound and this shot. And there it is with Patterson.
Patterson hits both free throws. He's got 6, and it's a 7-point difference. So the Warriors were down by 13, and they cut it to 7. Alonzo Johnson for 2. 8 points for Johnson. 3-point attempt, no good. Underneath, put back in, and good at the buzzer by Matt Patterson. So Patterson comes on strong with 6 points here in the third quarter, as he basically salvaged the third quarter for Kecoughtan.
Well, they had not scored but 4 points or 5 points, and then they end up scoring. What did they score for the quarter? It looks like they scored, 12, so they really picked up offensively, but what made their offensive output start increasing was their defensive pressure. Let's go to Dr. Sam Still.
Thank you, Bob and Tim. We're here in the stands with Mrs. and Mr. and Mrs. Dr. Jordan. And Mrs. Jordan teaches at Warwick High School, and I don't think she's ever missed a Warwick game, football or basketball or track. And she follows the Kecoughtan Warriors because, why do you follow the Kecoughtan Warriors?
Because I have a son on Kecoughtan's team.
And his name?
Tony Jordan.
Tony Jordan. Now, you had a son on the team not long ago that was a quarterback on the football team, right?
Yes, Doxy Jr.
Doxy Jr., and where is he now?
Doxy's at UNC at Chapel Hill.
Okay, are you enjoying this game?
Very much so, very much. It's a good game. They're playing good ball tonight.
Bob and Tim, here at Kecoughtan, we have a lot of family support. We have a lot of families who follow their children here to watch them play tonight. We got Mrs. Waters back here in the back, Mrs. Walter, who has a son over here on the team also. She's back up there. She's a little bit shy. Her husband is a principal at Ferguson High School. You see the little Walter boy here. Tell us about your son.
Well, Doug is a junior and loves basketball.
He loves basketball. Okay, back to you, Tim and Bob.
All right, thank you, Dr. Sam. And while you were talking with Mrs. Walter and Mrs. Jordan, the Warriors were able to score in the form of Lawrence Lewis, and now they'll get the ball back as the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by Lafayette. Lewis has come on to score 4 points here in the second half, and now timeout being called.
Yeah, Jerry Furrier says, hey, wait a minute, let's call timeout. Kecoughtan was down by as much as 14, and now they've cut it to 5, and it's because of their defensive pressure. They've done a good job.
I find this interesting that that Mrs. Jordan works at Warwick High School as a teacher, and Walter his father works at Ferguson High School. So the kids are spread all over the peninsula, keeping the Peninsula District well stocked with players. There you see one half of the officials tonight. That's Bill Wessel.
And that's a good shot of those cheerleaders that Dr. Sam got a chance to talk about.
.7:26 remaining here in the fourth quarter. 40-35, a low-scoring ball game. Of course, it's based somewhat on the deliberate play of Lafayette. They have set the tempo for the better part of this game. In the ball game now for Lafayette is Jeff Roberts, number 12.
And Doug Walter is out of the ball game right now, and because of that, Lafayette is in a straight zone. They're not playing that box and one.
Lafayette has seen the lead dwindle to 5 from the free throw line. No good. And a rebound comes off for Matt Patterson, who has done a real strong job here for Kecoughtan in the second half. Tipped out of bounds, it'll belong to the Warriors. Warriors playing without their second leading scorer. They're missing a 15.2 average in the lineup tonight. To their credit, they have played very well considering that. Joe Fluellen is open. It's short, and back come the Rams. Nice dish off. Oh, a nice play.
It was a nice pass.
Jay Wright dished it off, and Marcus Walker got the basket. 7-point lead. All the way across the court. Jordan for 3. No good. And a foul underneath will be against Kecoughtan. You see Jerry Furrier from Lafayette, the head coach. Foul is called against Matt Patterson. That's his third. That's the team's third. So while Kecoughtan will shoot the bonus, Lafayette has yet to reach that point. Brown is hammered. No, they say traveling before the shot.
That was a good call. He did shuffle his feet before he shot the ball.
So what would have been a 9-point lead stays at 7. And Kecoughtan gets the ball back. Walter is back in the ball game.
And he's being hounded.
Pass is knocked away and retrieved finally by James Cooper of Lafayette.
Well, Kecoughtan is making some bad passes the last 2 times down the court.
Raymond Brown muscled away from the basket, puts it up short. Back come the Warriors, trailing by 7. They're going to call, yes, they're going to give him the basket. Oh my gracious. That's the old continuation play.
Yeah, there's no continuation play in high school.
Tell that to the official.
Well, and Revis Conrad says that's a good call. Now, Jerry Furrier may not agree with that.
And, you know, just as importantly, that is the 4th foul on Cooper. Let's watch this again now. Let's see if he is fouled before he shoots. There's the foul.
Yeah. Oh,
and he hasn't even shot yet.
That wasn't even close. That was a bad call.
Well, if you're a Warrior, it's a great call as Lewis gets a 3-point play, and it's a 4-point ball game. So that was a big play. Underneath the other end, there's a foul, and going to the free throw line will be Cooper.
They are forcing that ball down inside. They being the Rams right now. They do hold an advantage size-wise down there underneath that basket.
Cooper will go to the free throw line. He is 4 for 4 from the charity stripe. And he has 8 points, all of them coming in the first half. Big right-hander connects. 2-point Lafayette lead, 5:04 remaining. And Cooper continues to be perfect from the free throw line. Nice soft jumper by Lewis as he has really come alive here in the second half. 9 points in the second half for Lewis. And Patterson gets the board.
And that's a nice shot by Niamoka. Cut it to 2.
2-point ball game.
If the Rams don't score this time down and Kecoughtan ends up scoring, look for Jerry Furrier to call a big timeout.
4:15 remaining. Contact made, no foul. The basket counts as Jay Wright plowed through.
No harm, no foul.
No blood, no foul. Kecoughtan won one of the games 60-54, and Lafayette came back and won by 3, 60-57. So they've played close ball games prior to this being the rubber match of the season. Shot is too long, but a good putback by Patterson. And check that, Lewis. 16 points for Lawrence Lewis, averaging less than 6 coming in.
And Kecoughtan is in a half-court trap.
2-point Lafayette lead. They led by 7 after 3 quarters. .3:15 to go in the ballgame. Jeff Roberts with Marcus Walker, not the guards that started the ballgame. A foul on the play.
And that was a great backdoor cut that time by number 54 for the Rams. That's big James Cooper. He made a big court. Watch this backdoor cut. He's wide open. No, I'm sorry. It's 44 that made the cut, but he passed the ball off. That was Raymond Brown passing the ball off, and that was a good foul though in that situation.
Patterson.
Make him make the points from the foul line.
The only problem with that foul, and I agree with you, and it was a good foul, but that was the 4th on Patterson, and that could be a factor down the road here. As Cooper gets the roll to stay perfect at the free throw line. 7 out of 7 for big James Cooper. I wonder if his middle name is Fenimore.
I don't think so, but I don't know.
He continues to be hot from the free throw line, 8 out of 8. And his team now leads by 4. This is Kecoughtan with the ball. Turnaround jumper, Abraham, yes! They're doing a good job flashing in that lane, they being the Warriors. How about to catch that ball? Brown kicks it over to Jeff Roberts. They spot Cooper free. Ball is knocked away by Flewellen. It'll belong to Lafayette.
And Kecoughtan's going to take a timeout with 2:40, and they're down by 2. They've got to stop the Rams and get this ball back down to their end of the court.
While I have this timeout, let's make you aware of the Peninsula District standings as of this Friday night, the 26th. Hampton is atop the Peninsula District standings with 10-1, 13-2 overall. Warwick in second place, just a half game back at 9-1, 11-3. Denby 7-4, 9-6. Phoebus in fourth place, 6-4, 7-8. Lafayette is 6-5 and 8-8, as we mentioned. Ferguson and Kecoughtan tied at 4-7 in the Peninsula District. Kecoughtan with a 5-10 overall record. Medgefield 1-9, 1-13, and Bethel with 1-10 and 1-12 at this point. So Hampton and Warwick in a battle for first place. As you're watching this game, the fact that I'm going to mention this may be superfluous, but Tuesday night we are at Hampton High School for the game between Warwick and Hampton.
And that's going to be a barred murder.
I can't help but mention it because I'm really looking forward to that. Our first look at Warwick. We've seen Hampton play, and should be a real good ball game. I'm not sure this game was going to be aired before that, but if it is.
The one thing you're going to see here by this Lafayette team, if they don't get a layup, they're not going to shoot that ball.
Interestingly, Alonzo Johnson and Kenny Miller, who were the mainstays of this offense, well, Miller's back in there now. But Johnson is out, and the ball is picked off. So Kecoughtan now with a chance to tie it and go ahead with a three-pointer. Man all alone at the baseline. His shot is short, and then he commits the foul as he tried to grab the ball after the rebound.
He was so open, he short-armed that shot. He didn't follow through with it.
And that apparently will be all for Matt Patterson. That is his 5th personal foul. We get a chance to watch this again as he checks out with 8 points on the night. There you see it was wide open, and it just came up short. And then he went over the back to get the rebound. And if you can foul a wrong man right now, Cooper is not the man to foul. He is perfect, 8 of 8.
Well, and that's happens so often when you miss a shot. You try to make up for it and get that rebound.
Cooper rattles it through. He's got 9 for 9. And he's also got 13 points for the night. Finally misses. And it makes it a 3-point difference. Llewellyn spots Doug Walter. Walter's shot is blocked. That was Cooper. Cooper has played a great ball game. Nice bounce pass. Cooper goes in, and I'm going to say this time the block and foul occurred before the shot. And check that, that's not Cooper, but in fact that was Jay Wright. No basket. Kyle Nave emphatic about the call. He did not hesitate.
No, and that was a good call. It really was. We'll look at it on the replay, and the contact is going to be made right there, and then he goes up for the shot.
Now we saw
now that was more of a continuation than the other one we saw. I know what you're doing.
It really was. So easy to look at it on the replay, isn't it? I think all in all, the officials have done a real good job at this ball game tonight. They've made a couple of close calls, but that's going to happen in any ball game. Without the benefit of instant replay, let's give them credit. Kecoughtan overplaying the ball in the attempt to steal. 1:01 left in the ball game.
They're going to have to foul pretty soon. But that's not the guy you foul with the ball.
Man with the ball is 2 for 2. This man has yet to go to the free throw line. Miller. Dish off is intercepted by Llewellyn.
You got to get 3 or get 2 and call timeout real quick. You can't waste time.
This is not the man they want to have the ball way outside. This is the man they want to have it. His shot is partially blocked. Llewellyn hustles to the ball. 20 seconds to go. Baseline jumper. Abraham hit it.
They called a timeout, but the referee didn't call it.
And now the foul, and it's going to be a 1-and-1 as Walter had to foul. That's his second. 8 seconds remaining. And the official could have just as easily called that an intentional foul on Walter.
Yes, he could have.
For the fans that may not be familiar with that, if in the official's opinion, and that's the one that always counts, if he feels that the player, and we'll watch the replay of this, if he feels the defender who committed the foul intentionally did so with no intent to do anything else, he can. There you saw the attempt to call a timeout, but it was not done quickly enough. Watch right here. See, 32, Patterson didn't foul him intentionally, but it looked like Walter might have.
Yeah.
Check that. Lawrence Lewis is 32, not for Patterson. At any rate, it's been a good ball game. We have enjoyed it, at least I have.
This has been an exciting ball game. It really has. And if you're Kecoughtan, you got to feel kind of confident and feel good to be able to be within 1 point at this juncture and not have a 15-point scorer playing for you. That means that other people have picked up the slack, so that means that going into the tournament the last half of this season, and in the tournament, you got some other people who might be able to stick their head up and score some points.
Well, the Peninsula District has a lot of good teams involved with it this year, and Hampton and Warwick are two of those teams that have excelled throughout this season. Denby's coming on, and I understand this time of year a lot of players who may not have been eligible for transfer reasons and so forth are becoming eligible, so they may have some influence on the outcome of this district race as well. Players we haven't even heard from yet. And now Lafayette is going to call a timeout to continue their discussion of this, and we will take a moment to perhaps reflect on who we might choose as a player of the game from each of these teams.
Well, I'd have to go, if we're going to pick a player of the game, I got to go with James Cooper for Lafayette. He's been awesome rebounding, but he has been excellent at the foul line. And at the other end, if you're going to pick out somebody, I think you have to go with the young man who
Lawrence Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis, who's come off the bench, has just done an outstanding job, number 32.
I can't argue either one of those points, as Lewis has 16 points on the night and has done an excellent job, as you mentioned. The only other consideration, strong consideration, would be for Jay Wright, who is coming in with 12 points for Lafayette at this point of the ball game, and he has done a good job, as he has had a total of 9 points in the second half to spark Lafayette to offset this comeback.
What hurt Kecoughtan was that big lead that the Rams got right at the end of that third quarter, right at the beginning of that third quarter. They came out really fired up, and Kecoughtan was just a little flat.
Kenny Miller going to the free throw line for the first time tonight. Good hustle by Jeff Roberts. Great hustle. See Roberts go all the way down the court there and just virtually throw himself against the wall in an effort to stop the ball. 3 seconds left. Kecoughtan inbounds. Llewellyn has it knocked out of his hands. 2 seconds left. It could be that neither team has any timeouts remaining. Into Abraham, it's knocked away. The buzzer will sound, and that'll be your ball game. So a hard-fought battle. What a finish to the ball game. As you see, Joe Llewellyn slowly getting up. Bob, you're going to make your way across the court there and see if you can talk with Rivas. Or that's a tough ball game, but they have nothing to be ashamed about. This was a hard-fought ball game all the way. Bob, knowing that it's tough to talk to a coach after his team loses a close one, will see if he can get a word with Rivas Conrad.
Can you hear me okay, Tim?
Yep. Here you find, Bob, and we'll get you picked up in just a moment. And to recap some unofficial scoring for you, 13 points for James Cooper. We got a chance to watch the replay of that last 3 seconds. There you saw the ball knocked out of Abraham's hands, and then an all-out effort to get the ball. I thought it was Llewellyn, but in fact it was Tony Jordan who just threw himself into the bench area to get the ball and just came up a little short. And Bob, you've got Rivas Conrad. He's got to be disappointed, and at the same time, he's got to be pleased with the effort by his team tonight.
Thank you, Tim. I got Rivas Conrad. Rivas, you really made an exciting game at the end, but you got to be a little bit pleased with your team because you were missing a 15-point score that wasn't in there tonight.
Well, that's true, but Jerry had to play with what he had to play with tonight, and I had to play with what I had to play with. His kids did a real good job. I thought my kids did too.
You come out a little flat in the third quarter. They got a big lead on you, but your guys really fired back. Did that boxing one bother you a little bit?
Yeah, it bothered us a little bit because the other guys didn't go through like we wanted to. They did a good job with the boxing one, but the kids that came in off the bench for me, I thought did a good job. Jerry's team did a super job.
Yeah, they both did. You had nothing to be ashamed of. Either team looked good out there tonight. They really did.
Thank you very much.
And we'll look forward to seeing you in the tournament, Grievous.
I will be looking forward to get there.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll have everybody help me
All right,
again.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Back to you, Tim.
All right, thank you. And we should mention, in fairness, when discussing players that aren't in attendance, Tony Parker, the third leading scorer on the Lafayette team with more than 10 points a game, was also not available tonight. So it does work out to be relatively even, but as you said, and I think Rivas will agree, he has to be pleased with the effort by his team, as they lost their second leading scorer, 15 points a game, brought out of the lineup because of a problem with some grades. Not that he is failing, but there was a question about an incomplete grade, and they, rather than take the chance of having to forfeit, they chose not to play him.
Right, and all it was just he evidently didn't turn in assignment, or maybe had something that was due that wasn't done. And Rivas, and that was a straight call, but Rivas was right. You go out there and play with who you've got, and that's exactly what they did, and they did a good job out there tonight.
All right, that's going to do it from Lafayette High School. The final score, the Kecoughtan Warriors losing in the last seconds, 49-48. For Bob Hinson, the entire crew, this is Tim Cole. Thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.